Welcome back to IGN Live at E3 2017. I'm James Duggan, joined by Tim Willits, studio director at id Software, to give us a look at Quake Champions. So the very first question I have to ask you is, how did you maintain that fast, frantic Quake feel?
That's a very good question. So there's really three things that make up a Quake game. You have your movement as offense and defense. You have your arena-style levels and environments. And then you have your situational, over-the-top, powerful weapons. Those are the three things that you need in any Quake game.
Great. So we're going to be diving into all the specifics, all the champions, all the unlockables, all that cool stuff. But I understand you have something very special to show us here, which is a new arena called
Lockbox. Yes. So we are currently in beta still, but we are releasing content, and we have a brand new team a level called a Lockbox. It throws back to the original Quake 1 style levels. The other levels that we have in the beta, are much more open, much more larger play spaces. But our fans really wanted something that made them feel like original Quake.
Great. So for a while, you were running a service called Quake Live.
Yes.
And it had a really good player base throughout. But you guys wanted to update that. You guys wanted to bring this into 2017. So tell me about the core design pillars of Quake and really what you wanted to accomplish with Quake Champions.
Exactly. So we ran Quake Live for years. But it was getting a little long in the tooth. So we wanted to do something new. And we came up with the idea of champions. We see an evolution right now in the genre where people want more personality in their characters. They want more depth. They want more strategy. So we feel that introducing champions delivers that while maintaining that skill-based Quake feel.
Sure. So let's talk about that. So each champion has unique active ability. They also have custom hitboxes, HP, armor, speed, all these different stats. So it's a lot more going on. But what I do like about it is it kind of holds true to Quake in the sense that it's not all ability-driven. It's still about skill. It's still about shooting. Can you tell me about that?
Yes, you are absolutely correct. Our goal was to maintain the skill-based arena shooter. The person with the best skill, they're going to win. But the champions, they add that level of depth and strategy where someone new to the game, someone that wants the game a little deeper, can find a champion they like. They can learn their abilities, and they can be successful with them.
Great. Can you give me an example of some of the active abilities? We're taking a look at Slash here with the railgun, a longtime Quake favorite. I see her like skating around corners. What's that about?
Yes. So Slash is her passive ability is her crouch slide. So if you're moving a corner and you crouch, you actually increase your speed. It's really a cool mechanic. It's pretty advanced, but it's really cool. And her active ability is her plasma trail, where if someone's chasing her or she wants to defend an area, she lays down a trail of plasma that explodes. She's actually quite popular online.
Great. Tell me about some of your other popular champions. I know Nyx is a favorite. I know Scalebear is a favorite. Tell me the whole suite.
So my personal favorite is Galena. She's my go-to champion. Galena is an unholy paladin, and she can throw down totems. And the totems can heal you or your teammates, or they can blow up against your enemies. So for me, it adds a level of depth and strategy where I can guard an area, I can use it offensively or defensively. So she's definitely really popular.
Great.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Oh, we've also found that Sorlag, which is kind of on the opposite spectrum of someone like Nyx, and you can see Sorlag there on the screen. She is she's a bigger character. She's kind of the lizard, and she has this area of denial attack that people, and especially the pros, really like her. So we have Nyx on one side, Sorlag on the other side, and then some great champions in between.
And of course, Snorlag is the lovely lady who vomits acid everywhere.
Yes.
That's delightful. All right, so we saw when Slash died and respawned that she spawned with a nail gun. So tell me about that, because you can actually choose which weapon you respawn with, but they're a little bit nerfed.
Yes. So looking at the Quake legacy, the different weapons that we start with, we wanted to give people the opportunity to start with something, but those are starting weapons. It's not a loadout. And so we have the machine gun, the nail gun, and the shotgun. But the more advanced machine gun, nail gun, and shotgun are in the levels. So you can pick up any weapons. No one is limited to a certain weapon, but it gives people that little extra choice. And it adds, some depth to it. Like for me, I usually start with the shotgun unless I play a fast character, then I start with the nail gun.
Sure. So we're looking at Clutch here, and he's activated his shield ability, which stops all incoming damage. Now, if you told somebody who was playing Quake competitively about that, they would probably get a serious migraine. So how have you dealt with the community reaction to this?
So we knew that when we told our hardcore Quake fans that we were going to put champions into Quake, they would freak out. So what we did is we got them playing the game. Early on, even before we went into closed beta, we invited to QuakeCon about 100 pro players and said, play the game. And you know, they saw that we spent a lot of time and effort into ensuring that there's balance, that no character is overpowered, and that the active abilities do not fundamentally change the way you play. And they love it. Like we've had a lot of great response from the top Quake players in the world.
And Quake Champions retains a lot of the core pillars, my favorite of which is strafe jumping, which from what I understand was actually initially a bug in like early Quake code, but is now a bona fide game mechanic that actually you're taking advantage of with some characters' kits. So for all of us out there who don't understand what strafe jumping is, what is it?
So yes, you're right. Strafe jumping was actually a bug in the original Quake. You have instant sideways acceleration. So when you're moving forward, if you use your strafe keys, because of that acceleration, you can start to actually speed up going forward. And it's kind of this kind of rhythm that you have with the keys that allow you to start to pick up speed. So what we did is in Champions is we have some champions that can strafe jump faster. We have some champions that can't strafe jump at all. You can really find the champion that you feel most comfortable with when it comes to strafe jumping.
Cool. We're looking at some classic team deathmatch gameplay here on IGN Live at E3 2017, but I want to know, what are the other game modes that you have in Quake Champions?
So of course, you know, team deathmatch, we have straight up deathmatch, it's free-for-all. We have our brand new esports focused team game mode called Sacrifice.
Ooh.
And then we have something that's very special to Quake. It's the 1 versus 1 mode, which is a duel mode. And the thing that we are really excited about for duel mode is that on the esports circuit today, there is no real 1 versus 1 game mode. So we think that with the legacy of that in Quake, we can be really successful with that duel mode.
Fantastic. So when I played a little bit of duel mode, it was on the team deathmatch maps, but now you have specific duel versions of those maps. So how do you balance that? I understand you have to bring like maybe the pickups down a little bit, stuff like that.
Yes, exactly. We recently released with the last update 2 duel specific maps. One's called Corrupted Keep, the other one's called Blood Run. And if you're a longtime Quake fan, you'll know what Blood Run is. So those levels are smaller. So your engagement times are down. And then the items are balanced, and the pickups are balanced to really get that strategic gameplay. So for the bigger levels, like Blood Covenant, we did make some adjustments to the items to make it more conducive to that dual play. So we feel that the smaller, tighter levels make for a better experience.
And you've actually leveraged the champions element into duel in a really cool way, kind of a pick 3 and an attempt to counter your opponent. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so the big new thing with duel is when you start, you have the option to pick one champion and someone else picks. So you're going to have that almost, you know, rock, paper, scissors mechanic where you can see what kind of strategy the other player is going to use. And it's added a layer of depth, and it's added a layer of excitement to, especially the spectator mode, because you can see what they're thinking and you can kind of guess. And it really adds a level of depth.
So a really exciting announcement here at E3 2017 was the inclusion of BJ Blazkowicz from Wolfenstein in Quake Champions.
Yes.
So of course the first question that pops into everybody's minds is, are other Bethesda property characters going to be making their way into Quake Champions in the future?
Well, I don't want to give it away anything right now. But we will have a regular cadence of champion releases. You know, BJ is really exciting because we have Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus, that was announced this week at the showcase, and it was really exciting to team up with that team to have BJ. And BJ's active ability is his dual wield straight out of the game.
Damn.
Yes, and so far online, he's definitely been very popular as a champion.
So also announced was a $1 million esports tournament. I understand, obviously, Quake is competitive at its very core. So what does that mean to you?
So we're really excited to announce this $1 million prize pool at QuakeCon this year. You know, we're committed to the game as a competitive esports title, and we will roll events, moving forward. We feel that the legacy of Quake being one of the original esports titles has helped kind of define the esports industry today. And there's no better way to put our flag down than to have a $1 million prize pool at QuakeCon this year.
Cool. All right. One of my favorite game modes is Sacrifice. I got to play a little bit of it. You've been talking about it a little bit. Can you give us a rundown of what that is? It's a little bit unconventional, so go ahead.
Well, it may be unconventional, but we've tried to keep the rules very simple to make it more spectator-friendly. So it's pretty straightforward. You have a soul in the middle, and you have 2 bases. When the soul spawns, think of it like a flag. You pick up the soul, you bring it to your base, and you defend your base. That's it. So the other team, of course, can attack your base. They can take the soul out and bring it to their base. So think of like one flag CTF with a kind of King of the Hill domination mode attached to it. And we found, especially for esports, especially for spectating, it works out really well because the soul becomes the ball. And you can watch the ball. You can watch people carry the ball. You can even throw the soul like a ball. So it's so far it's been very, very nice for spectators to watch the game mode.
Cool. Jumping back to the champions aspect of the game for a little bit, you have some characters that exist kind of on the edge as a tanky-ish character, like Clutch, some that are very quick, like Nyx. I was really interested because it is very skill-driven. Do people play what their team needs, or do they just play what they're best with, because ultimately the game is about getting kills?
So we have seen with some of the pro teams, they've started to build that strategy. What's nice is that not each of the teams has deployed the same strategy. So it's been very encouraging for us to look at these pro teams that are practicing, that they do lay down a strategy based on the team, and it's not the same. So you won't find like someone playing all Sorlags or someone playing all Nyxes. It has been encouraging. I think we'll see more of that, especially during the qualifiers and the regional events leading up to our Quake World Championships. So yeah, it's very encouraging.
Nyx just picking up the quad damage here, and that is just an old standby. The purple glow of death, as I like to call it. She's popping her active ability. Tell me about what you decided to keep in Quake in terms of stuff like quad damage and pickups.
Yes, so of course we needed to have quad damage. It's one of the things that truly makes a Quake game. The weapons, rocket launcher, a lightning gun, and railgun, we call that the holy trinity of Quake weapons. So don't mess with the holy trinity. And then, of course, we wanted to keep our pickups, as easy and straightforward as possible. So you have your armor and your health. We did change the way the health works to make it more streamlined, where you have your health canisters, your health bubbles, and each of the health balls in the levels recharge an entire health bubble. So it's a little easier to follow. It's a little easier to understand. But the key thing to Quake is remembering that when you spawn in, you need to go and find your weapons and your armor, because you need to gear up, you need to battle, and then you need to restock. That's what we tell each of our new players.
Cool. All right, let's talk in a little bit of levity here.
Okay.
We're looking at the rocket launcher, and this is a weapon that you can actually make look like the Doom rocket launcher with the aesthetic customization. There's just a plethora of really cool and fun things. Can you talk me through how people unlock those skins and what is unique about your aesthetic customization system?
Yes. So one of the things that we really wanted to focus on, besides the great gameplay, is being able to customize your champion. It goes all the way back to the abilities and having an attachment to the character that you want to play. So we have a number of different armor sets. We have skins. We have skin shaders that are available for every champion. Those can be acquired in like loot boxes or backpacks. Also, we have the weapon models. The Quake franchise has such a history of these great weapons. So we have the original Quake 1 rocket launcher. We have the original Quake 1 lightning gun. We have the Quake 2 railgun, which is my favorite railgun. So we really want to give people the opportunity and the ability to customize their experience while maintaining the same gameplay and the same competitive nature of the game, but to give it something special. And we feel that with the legacy of our characters, the ability to bring in characters like BJ, and you can customize BJ as well. We really have a lot of great opportunity to do some exciting things in Champions.
All right, my final question is about the monetization system. How are people getting into this game? Is it free? Can you unlock champions for free? That sort of thing.
Yes, yes. So our goal with the monetization of the game is to bring in as many people as possible. So the game will be a free-to-play game with an option to buy all the champions, the champion pack. So if you're the type of player that says, you know what, I just want to buy my game and I want to have everything, I want to go play, that's available for you. You know, of course, you can still unlock the skins and the different weapon shaders and stuff. But if you want to, play the game for free, you'll start out with Ranger. You can spin your in-game favor to unlock other champions. You also have the ability to own a champion through a drop, through a loot box drop, and then of course you can deconstruct some of the items that you earn to eventually then buy a champion. So there are multiple paths that you can take to earn champions in the game.
Fantastic. This has been Quake Champions, which is currently in closed beta. Where can people go to sign up for the closed beta?
It's simple, quake.com.
All right, quake.com. This has been Tim Willits, Studio Director at id Software. Thank you so much for joining us on IGN Live at E3 2017. Stick around for more. We're going to have stuff all day, every day, so keep it right there.